So welcome, everyone. I'm so delighted to get to see you here today, and we're in for a real treat. We're going to have Robert and Lynda Archer sharing with us a little bit about their story, which is quite a fascinating story too. I'm Gloria. I have been with Asea for about 9 months now. And fortunately for me, Marian Palmer, who's just one of the kindest, warmest hearted people I know, reached out to me, a complete stranger, and asked me about what it was I did because she thought it sounded fascinating. I have a sanctuary here called Healing You Sanctuary, and I'm really passionate about the healing that happens in our lives. Well, as we got to have our conversation move on, I started to learn new things. I'd never heard of redox signaling molecules. So she sent me the information, and boy, did I dive in deep. And I'm so glad I did, because I recognized that this is an answer to my prayers. And one of the main things that I have been focusing on is my breathing, for my lungs to be able to reduce the inflammation that's been caused by stress over time. And it's such, I don't know, just hard to describe what it's like when you have a hard time walking out to your barn because you got your herd to feed, but you can't catch your breath. And then when all of a sudden you can start walking out to the barn and you're like, wow, I'm doing great. It's just a whole new world. And that's just one of the aspects of what I've really been so delighted to get to experience since stepping into this company and getting to try these products. But what I really love, even more than that, breath is pretty important. I love the community that we're building together, and the support that we have for one another, and the fun that we get to have. Even when we have a down day, we can reach out and know that we're not alone, that we have accompaniment. And that's a big part of what life is all about. So now I'd like to introduce you to one of the team members that I love and adore, and it's Darleen Dozier.
Thanks, Gloria. I appreciate that. I am Darleen Dozier, and I joined Asea via Gloria in January, and the products have just been absolutely amazing. My background is in nursing, and I also have a degree in exercise physiology. So my journey through fitness and wellness, Asea fits into that perfectly and has provided so many gateways for myself and my animals, and the products that have come on board recently, the mind and body and energy drinks. I will tell you, I have started using those faithfully, and they make a huge difference in my day. So I can't say enough good about what Asea has provided for my health journey and my family's health journey. And there's another gentleman I want to introduce to you now. His name is Dr. David Silverman. He's on our Asea medical board. And today he's going to give you a very good explanation about Asea Redox and how it works and how it affects your body. So please enjoy.
Hi, my name is Dr. David Silverman. I'm happy to be able to spend a few minutes with you here. I'm on the medical board of this company, Asea. I don't work for the company. It's a volunteer position. The flagship product, the breakthrough, is called Asea, and that's the name of the company, Asea. The technology is called redox. What's in this bottle is in us. Our cells make it. It's called redox signaling molecules. That's what it is. Redox stands for reductant and oxidant. It's made from saline. If you look at the back, it says it's made from salt and water. It is made from salt and water, but it's not salt and water anymore. What's in here, our cells make from saline. Our cells are filled with saline. When you go to the hospital and you get an IV, they give you saline because that's what our cells are filled with. Well, in our cells, we have something called the mitochondria. The mitochondria is called the power plant of the cell because we know it produces a molecule we burn for fuel called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It's been known for decades. But during the complicated process of producing that, we also produce these little things called reductants and oxidants. When I was a biology major in the 80s and then podiatric medical school in the 80s, there was no known function for these reductants and oxidants. You look at the literature in the 90s, they've discovered a function. And they're called reductants and oxidants, or redox signaling molecules. And what they do is amplify signaling. They make it so that your cells can hear one another. Why is that important? Well, they're not chatting about the football game that happened. Cells need to talk about, need to inform each other if there's a problem with the cell, because bad cells need to be replaced with good ones. As we age, our cells die, they need to be replaced with good cells. Good cells, healthy cells in your pancreas, you got a healthy pancreas. You got bad cells, you're going to have a disease, and they're going to start giving you medication to lower your blood sugar. Whether it's your cells in your retina, your liver, whatever, they die, they need to be replaced. They mutate, they need to be stopped. Who does all that? Your immune system does it. Your immune system gets a signal. It has to be a clear signal, and the immune system cells come down and get rid of that bad cell. All right. I'm not going to go into deep detail here, but this is why this product sounds too good to be true. But it is true, because it's made from saline, right? And people are like, well, it's just salt water. It amplifies signaling. The more you have in your body, the louder the signal is. So children have a lot of mitochondria, and they're very, very packed tightly, and they're very efficient. So they produce a lot of ATP, power plant of the cell. Think about the energy children have, right? And as we age, energy kind of goes down, doesn't it? But what about healing? Who heals faster from an injury? A 10-year-old or a 20-year-old? 10-year-old does, because something happens at puberty. Our mitochondria become less efficient, and we start producing less ATP and less of this. I'm 61 years old. My cells are making this much. They made this much when I was a kid, right? I could fall off my bike next day, go to school. Fall off your bike at 61, what happens to you? Well, my cells are making this much. I drink this, I raise my levels up. Simple explanation, much more detailed that you can get, and your friend can give you more resources. But safety was what I cared about. Because it's made from saline, it's not salt water anymore. Salt water is two molecules, sodium chloride and H2O. Redox molecules, there are 16 possible ones using sodium chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen. So in your cells, the sodium chloride molecules ripped apart, the H2O molecules ripped apart, and those ions are combined to make redox signaling molecules. But safety is important. This is what I love. Think about this. There's a money back guarantee on the product, so that's safe too, but safe to your body. You can't be allergic to it. It's in you. There's no toxicity. If you take too much of it, your body turns the excess back into saline. I used to write prescriptions every day. There's risks with prescriptions, lots, but there's no toxicity to it. You can't drink too much. And third, it's transparent to medication. So if you're taking medications, you don't have to stop. If you have low mood and the medication you're taking helped you, but you've got side effects, you'd rather not take it, you don't have to risk it and stop it. Just keep taking it and watch what happens with the change with this, just by this is the only variable. Now, the gel version is Renew 28. Now, this is fascinating. People want to know how that this is real, especially before they start telling people about it. Give this 90 days. A simple explanation how to do it. Your friend will explain how to use the product. Simple, easy. But the very first day you get the product, take the gel, and it's marketed for anti-aging. I mean, it rejuvenates skin cells. So it's clear. There's no smell. It's marketed for your skin. But there's something fascinating about it. So you have a 30-day money-back guarantee on the product. Find a few people that have something that hurts them. Maybe you have something, your neck hurts, your hand, I wonder if it could help your knee, your back, menstrual cramp, whatever it is. Find 5 people. Say you find 10 people. And there's a simple way to do this. And in 10 minutes, what if you put it on 10 people and in 10 minutes, 5 of them said, that's incredible. How did it do that? What if it was 7 out of 10? What if it was 9 out of 10? Your friend will share with you how to do that, okay? But please, I urge you, take this very seriously, this investigation. And once you see what it does and you're in the know, like the pioneers that your friend is that I am, this is going to become mainstream in the world. And you put the gel on 10 people who are hurting and ask them how they feel in 10 minutes, it's going to be very self-evident to you that this is going to become mainstream. But you can share this with people. You can do the same thing your friend is doing. You can invite your friends to a Zoom like this anywhere in the world, do the exact same thing, play this exact same video. All you do is share what happened with you, and you can make a real difference in this world. So again, you'll thank your friend for the rest of your life that they brought this to you. And it's an honor to be part of it. I can't see you right now, but but I know you're listening to my words, and I hope you're taking this very, very seriously, because it really is a serious thing. Thank you so much.
So while we're right here, I just want to also use our disclaimer and say that I want you to please know that these products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or to prevent any disease, but they really do support our cells to communicate more clearly. And Marian, you need to unmute yourself.
I always forget. I'm so grateful for myself for this blue bottle. He talked about in his 60s and his reduction in lower level of redox signaling molecules. I'm 79. And so I want my level up here too. And because of this, I can. And because of this, when I go to reunions and I see my cousins and friends in wheelchairs, in walkers, with canes, and I can still do 5Ks and 12Ks and enjoy just being physical in life, it's because of this, and I'm thankful for it. I have the privilege today of introducing our very special guests. This is Robert and Lynda Archer. Lynda is a wife, mother, and grandmother. She has a background as an LVN in geriatrics, and lastly, the marketing director of her husband's business, which meant when he sold it, she lost her job, or so she thought. Robert was born and raised in southern New Mexico, but got to Texas as soon as he could. He has an extensive automotive background, working with several independent auto shops until he started up an import repair shop. I used to have a foreign car, and I was always looking for someone who was good at that, but we weren't close to Texas. After 4 years, he bought out both partners and continued running his repair business until he sold it in 2018. It wasn't easy running a brick and mortar business, yet he did it through determination and perseverance. In 2020, Lynda and Robert decided to partner with Asea in a new and exciting business where they can help so many more people than ever before. So with cars, you have to have repairs going on. I guess that happens with our bodies as well. Is that right, Robert?
For sure, for sure. Older we get, the more issues we have. So, you know, it's great to have this product to be able to replenish and to restore the old cells that we've got, and to get new ones to replace them. So it's awesome.
Well, tell us about how you heard about redox and Asea, and what caught your interest, and where's your passion now?
Okay, I'll let Lynda start out.
Okay. His sister, Kay Kane, and her husband, Clyde, introduced us in August of 2020. They sent us the video, we watched it, and it was kind of like, probably not. But then in September, I had surgery, shoulder surgery. And I was in this brace. You know, it was awful. Well, Kay got me to drinking 2 ounces. And that night I slept. That's the first time I'd slept since surgery. And it was a good sleep. And I was rubbing the Renew 28 on my shoulder, and I barely have a scar. It's, you know, it's very light. You have to really look for it. But Kay and Clyde introduced us, and I'm glad they did. I'm very thankful. Now we're going out and sharing our experiences.
Yep. So in 2019, to kind of back up this a little bit, we went to Oklahoma where my sister and brother-in-law live, and my brother-in-law has been a pastor just about all of his life. And in November of 2019, we went out to a wedding of one of his granddaughters that lived there close. And he had to have help from his grandson to get down the aisle, and had to have a stool to support himself while doing the ceremony. So, he'd been battling prostate bad cells for 4 years at that time. And in October of 2020, when we went over to another granddaughter's wedding that he performed, he had at that time had been on Asea for 2 months, I believe it was. And you could tell just looking in his eyes, he was vibrant and really alive, back to being himself, joking around all the time. And he just kind of bounded down the aisle. I mean, if he could have skipped, he would have done that. But he didn't need any help to help stand, for the ceremony. He wasn't any longer taking naps in the morning and the afternoon just to get through the day. He was so tired from all the treatments and everything at 5 years at that time. And so it was really great to see his color back and his vibrant personality. And so when at that time, before that, my sister has come to me with a lot of different things of natural stuff to help us. And, we just kind of and move on. And so this time, I had proof in front of me. Excuse me. And so I didn't need to know what redox was, how it worked. I just knew that it worked for Clyde. And, he was just doing so well that, it was a foregone conclusion. We just signed up and started drinking. My sister, of course, loaned us product until ours came in, and returned it later. But, it's just something that is fundamental. I mean, it's foundational. It's what our body makes, so why not? But it's tough to understand that to start with. And it's just like way up here, and trying to understand what it is. But just taking it on faith that my brother-in-law was doing so well that it was a no-brainer for me.
Sounds like it was very powerful to witness that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Lynda sat down when they're in the living room with Clyde, and just asked him, "How in the world are you doing?" So you
Yeah.
know, better than I can.
I asked him, I said, Clyde, how are you doing? And he said, since Asea, I'm doing great. I don't have to have naps. I feel good. I have energy. I'm back to me. And I could tell he was back to Clyde. He was just a very vibrant person.
What a difference it made for you and for him and for us. This is just so exciting.
Yep.
So I want to talk about possibilities for people to get in, but before that, does anyone have any questions?
Well, I'm curious, as you started to use the product yourself, where are you on your journey with that now? And are there other things that you've noticed in your own health or wellness that you could share?
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
You want to start?
Yeah, sure. I drink anywhere from probably 8 ounces in the morning. And if I'm having a bad day, with achy joints or anything like that, I drink more. But I can tell if I forget my Asea very quickly. But I try to drink 8 ounces in the morning and usually about 4 or 8 in the afternoon. And I rub the Renew 28 on my shoulders, face,
Mhm.
neck. I mean, I use the product.
Yeah.
And if I had, and we can show people that they can have they can see how it works
Yeah.
by putting it on their neck and then do the strength test.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, myself, using the liquid helped a lot in sleeping. My dad and myself have had a lot of issues with sleeping through the night. And, still once in a while I do, but using Renew on all of my joints, working on cars all of my life, bending over fenders for years and picking up heavy things and breaking hard bolts, loose, and my shoulders, my back, my hips, my everything, has discomfort. So it's an awesome thing to be able to put that on and reduce dramatically the discomfort that I have. Another thing I have in common with my sister and my mother is that we have retina issues. And so mine is a dry type. My sister and mother's was wet type where they bleed. And my mother did not have the option of the treatment of today. So she steadily went blinder and blinder, and she loved to read. But just the 26th of May, I went back for my yearly retina test checkup. And I was able to, for the first time, read every chart they stuck in front of me, no matter how small it was. And so I hadn't done that for a long time. And feeling discomfort in my eyes, putting the liquid in my eyes drops 2 or 3 times a day has really immensely helped that. And the doctor was very pleased with my vision improvement. And he didn't say anything about the little squigglies. Well, the retina and the shape of it, sometimes you have these little dips in it, and they're much smaller. And so I'm looking to get new glasses here pretty soon to see that my prescription is lowered for the first time in my life.
Wow.
I started wearing glasses when I was in the 2nd grade. And so it's a normal fixture in my face.
Well, that's so inspiring.
Do you put the Asea in your eyes as well as drinking it?
Yes. And I've been doing the drops in my eyes we've been in about 22 months, but I've been doing it about a year and a few months. So the time before, a year ago, my eyes did improve, but it's much improved this year after a full year of being on it. And it's really helped, and it's helped my sister as well, Crea, to be able to improve, I think, 6 or 7 lines, because she was pretty much, she couldn't drive, because she couldn't see. So now she can see the speedometer on her dash. So when she told me that, I thought, what? Are you driving? She drove. Yeah.
One of the things that you shared was the difficulty and challenges that you had owning your own business.
Right.
So how does an Asea business compare with the brick and mortar?
Well, there's really no comparison because brick and mortar, doing automotive, I had a toolbox that was fairly small compared to a lot of technicians. And I bet I had $50,000 worth of tools, hand tools and special tools. And that's just a drop in the bucket of what you have to do. You got to buy a building that costs several $100,000. Then plus all the technical equipment, rent, if you had rent, I did for a number of years, and utilities and so on, that never stops. It doesn't matter whether you have income coming in or not. The bills still come. And, you know, there's a lot of times I work by myself after I bought my partners out. And that's tough. And with this business, there's no comparison because I until I started with a management company in 2009, I felt like I was alone in doing this business every day. And in Asea, you always have, you know, people like y'all to support us, and we're glad to support you. And so everybody, I mean, I was in another networking company, the largest one, and I didn't feel like trying to get other people to do what I was doing because I wasn't very successful with it. And with this company, you just got to keep plugging along and doing, finding those people that want to build a business, that want to be have a healthier life and a quality of life that they haven't had for years. So that's what I'm looking for. My dad was 98 when he passed, and mother 96. So I'm looking for 100 at least, and I want to do it with the Asea products to be able to think and talk and get up and move around. And so that's my goal in life, to continue doing that and to help others do the same thing.
Any other questions? Well, thank you for being our guest. It's just great. We see you at events and things, but to get to know you better, it's just been so special.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's always good meeting you.
Mhm.
I want to introduce Ruth Crea. She is going.
Well, before we move there,
Oh, thank
I
you.
wanted to just check and you know, many times after people have just been introduced to this technology, there's some options that they might be sitting with. I wonder if you could speak to that.
Certainly. You know, you have choices. This isn't a one thing, what do you call it? Anyway, something that you can do is you can just take the products and be a customer. You can be a retail customer, or it's much cheaper if you do a preferred customer. So when you do that, after the third month, you can be able to gain points and be able to get new product. I mean, free product, which is always awesome. I mean, last time we turned in some points, we got 10 tubes of Renew. So, you know, that's expensive when you buy it, you know, retail. But then there's, you know, the other choices are you can sign up and get big packs to where if you have a need for it, be able to take enough product to have results. My main thing is being consistent, taking enough, long enough to see results, so that, you know, if you just take 2 ounces twice a day for 3 months, you may not have results, especially if you're over 45. And so I wanted to be able to take enough. And most of the time I take somewhere around 12 to 16 ounces each day, plus, of course, the 3 Redox cell performance products. Love those. Been sipping on one here to keep my nerves cool and be able to say what I wanted to say. So, you know, you can become an entrepreneur and be able to build a business. It's not going to be easy, because running a brick and mortar business was not easy. But anything worthwhile takes work. And when we work at it daily and, you know, just reach out to people, caring about them, then we can have success and have little successes along the way. You know, before I counted as a success as fixing a car that ran very well, that didn't run good before. I want to help people run well once they get on the product and be able to keep their tank full of gasoline that keeps them motivated and running strong.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank
people
you.
can buy new cars, but
Yep.
they can't buy new bodies. So
No.
you're right on. Yeah.
Yep.
So those are good choices for people to think about, and we're all here to help you.
Yep.
Ruth, would you tell us what's happening in the future?
Yeah. So first, I'd like to thank both of you for sharing your experiences, because it really means a lot to hear from others how they experience Asea. And I'd like to encourage anyone who has invited you to this meeting, or either this meeting or a recording, to get back to whoever invited you to this presentation to see what your next steps can be. And so now I would like to extend an invitation to come to our next scheduled Zoom meeting this coming Tuesday, June 7th at 7 p.m. And we've invited Rhoda Ingstad to be our guest speaker. Rhoda is a retired third grade teacher. She's always loved children and supported them to grow and to realize their potential in life. She has a heart to help others and pursued a side career as a Christian counselor. Rhoda enjoys raising dogs, making her own jewelry, and traveling with her family. Her passion for people is for people to be supported to become who they were born to be. And
I cannot wait to hear this testimony of a dream come true. It's one you will not want to miss. So thank you all for being here with us today, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right. Thank you much.
Thank you.
thank you. Bye.